is threat intelligence as as a field, and why our seminar is even called Threat Intelligence Seminar. And we'll be looking at a few practicals or a few things and websites that are available that we can use to research and to get a lot of things online. So before we begin with that, our threat intelligence seminar here is organized or divided into two parts. Our first part is our video awareness training, where we are watching a video. After watching the video, we will talk about that and we'll answer a few questions. And after that, we come back to our second segment where we look at the theory side or our practicals sometimes, or sometimes to our presentation time. So please stay with us. Let's do the first segment where we are watching the video. So I'll play the video in some few minutes, and then we watch it, we analyze it, we answer the questions out of it, and then we will meet here again to discuss our second segment. All right.
Each week, another company gets hijacked. You hear the constant stream of news. Each week, another company gets hijacked, losing millions of credit cards, customer data, health records, or public trust because hackers broke into their network. Apparently, all these computer people aren't doing a very good job protecting photos of your cat. Surely hackers aren't interested in photos of Fluffy, and you could never be the target of an attack. And that's where you're wrong. Your job title may range from penguinologist, yes, that's a thing, to the chief financial officer, and you will still potentially be a target. And for good reason. Every SSN, credit card number, birth date, and bank account number is stored on a computer somewhere and goes for anywhere from $2 to $20 per identity on the black market. You may not handle sensitive data directly, but even the most meaningless data can be a goldmine to an attacker. Are you in HR? Employee lists and salary information is a goldmine. How about marketing? You probably have access to customer lists. Finance or accounting? Duh. Intern or copy machine engineer? Still a target. No job is too insignificant to not be a target. Attackers are smart and often target employees in one department, only to use that access to pivot to a more privileged department. But wait, you say, my company has clearly put a lot of time and money into security. We have passwords for everything, antivirus software, security cameras, door locks, and pesky security training. It's true. Companies are spending more than ever on security. It may feel like you're safe from all those angry hackers trying to steal information, but they have a trick up their sleeve, and it's called social engineering. We'll call it SE for short. And it can be used on every person in a company, from janitors and security guards to accountants and executives. So what is social engineering? Social engineering is a form of attack in which the attacker uses a variety of psychological tricks on a user to gain access to a computer or network. Essentially, it means attackers have a good understanding of human nature and how to use it in combination with technology to gain or improve unauthorized access. We'll get to examples of social engineering soon. For now, just know you, penguinologist, copy machine engineer, or professional snuggler are a target, and you are the first line of defense. In fact, social engineering is used by attackers in over 85% of all data breaches. What's worse is the numbers are going up. It is a real threat, but it's only effective if employees are uneducated about social engineering and how to defend against it, which is why we're here. So who are we and why do we care? Phish Threat runs real-world phishing attacks against organizations just like real hackers do. What better way to test home security than to pay a burglar to try and break in? We like to think of ourselves as the best in the industry when it comes to simulating real-world attacks. With NSA and Department of Defense experience, We know firsthand how these attacks work and how to best defend against them. Don't worry, we're the good guys, and we're here to help. We'll help you identify social engineering attacks faster than Chuck Norris can count to infinity. So let's get started. You hear the constant stream of news. Each week, another company gets hijacked, losing millions of credit cards, customer data, health records, or public trust because hackers broke into their network. Apparently, all these computer people aren't doing a very good job protecting photos of your cat. Surely hackers aren't interested in photos of Fluffy, and you could never be the target of an attack. And that's where you're wrong. Your job title may range from penguinologist, yes, that's a thing, to the chief financial officer, and you will still potentially be a target, and for good reason. Every SSN, credit card number, birth date, and bank account number is stored on a computer somewhere and goes for anywhere from $2 to $20 per identity on the black market. You may not handle sensitive data directly, but even the most meaningless data can be a goldmine to an attacker. Are you in HR? Employee lists and salary information is a goldmine. How about marketing? You probably have access to customer lists. Finance or accounting? Duh. Intern or copy machine engineer? Still a target. No job is too insignificant to not be a target. Attackers are smart and often target employees in one department only to use that access to pivot to a more privileged department. But wait, you say, my company has clearly put a lot of time and money into security. We have passwords for everything, antivirus software, security cameras, door locks, and pesky security training. It's true. Companies are spending more than ever on security. It may feel like you're safe from all those angry hackers trying to steal information, but they have a trick up their sleeve, and it's called social engineering. We'll call it SE for short. And it can be used on every person in a company, from janitors and security guards to accountants and executives. So, what is social engineering? Social engineering is a form of attack in which the attacker uses a variety of psychological tricks on a user to gain access to a computer or network. Essentially, it means attackers have a good understanding of human nature and how to use it in combination with technology to gain or improved unauthorized access. We'll get to examples of social engineering soon. For now, just know you, penguinologist, copy machine engineer, or professional snuggler are a target, and you are the first line of defense. In fact, social engineering is used by attackers in over 85% of all data breaches. What's worse is the numbers are going up. It is a real threat, but it's only effective if employees are uneducated about social engineering and how to defend against it, which is why we're here. So who are we and why do we care? Phish Threat runs real-world phishing attacks against organizations just like real hackers do. What better way to test home security than to pay a burglar to try and break in? We like to think of ourselves as the best in the industry when it comes to simulating real-world attacks. With NSA and Department of Defense experience, we know firsthand how these attacks work and how to best defend against them. Don't worry, we're the good guys, and we're here to help. We'll help you identify social engineering attacks faster than Chuck Norris can count to infinity. So let's get started.
All right, so welcome back from this video. Let's take our quiz real quick. So with the quiz, I'll be actually telling you, or I'll be asking you the questions, and then you provide us with the answers, right? So we have 5 questions in total. So I'll be reading the questions, and then you provide us with the answer based on the video you just watched. So wherever you are, just unmute yourself and provide us with the answer, okay? So that we can know how best to understand the video and we can make this interactive as possible. If somebody says an answer and you don't agree with him or her, you can also provide us with your answer and why you think that is the answer based on the video that we just watched. So the first question is a true or false statement. Employees without a phone or computer don't need to worry about social engineering. True or false?
False.
False. Do you agree with false?
Yes, I
Okay.
agree.
Okay. All right. Let's look at question number 2. True or false statement again. Antivirus software will protect you from social engineering. True or false?
False.
False. I actually agree with this. Question number 3. What is social engineering? The first option says software intended to damage or disable computer systems. Option number B says the act of manipulating people so they give up confidential information. Option number 3 says a software application for traversing information on the World Wide Web. The last option says a device that outputs a visual image to display a video game. What is social engineering?
The
Option
second
2.
one.
The art of manipulating people so they give up
Yeah,
confidential information.
yeah, option 2, correct. Now let's look at question number 4. What are some methods that an attacker uses to collect information about a target? A, search engine, Google, Bing, Yahoo. B, company websites. C, social media sites. And then the last option is all of the above.
All of the
All
above.
of the above.
All of the above. And the last question, true or false, everyone is a target regardless of job title or position. True or false?
That is
True.
true.
That is true. Okay, so we have completed the quiz. Thank you guys for your contributions. Now, the reason why we watch this video, we will talk about that in a few more minutes. Now, today, we'll be looking at open source intelligence. As hackers are also gathering information from you, you as a person can also gather a lot of information online about your organization. That is what is called open source intelligence. Open source is open, so it is free, online. You just know where to go, where to pick information from. And after that, you have to sit down and analyze all these information to make meaning out of it. After you understand and you analyze this information, you get to know what is happening on the dark web. You get to know what are malware that are trending, that is for malicious software, the bad software that are developed by the hackers. You get to know and see something that we call indicators of compromise, that is called IOCs. Now, indicators of compromise are something like we call them, let's say, things you see or things you know that that your account has been compromised, sorry, or the things that will show, things that will pop up on your network for let you know that these things are not good. It can be the moment you see an IP address on your company's network trying to log into an account, you can use that IP address as an indicator of compromise. These are evidences that a data has been breached or somebody wants to do something bad against you. These are the indicators of compromise. So an example of indicators of compromise can be an IP address. So like I said, once you see an IP address on your network or you see this particular IP address somewhere, you know that this IP address is not it. It can also be a link. You see this link in your mail. So social engineering, just like we were watching a video, social engineering is whereby they manipulate you by letting you give them, a few things. Now, once you see these links, once you see this URL, once you see this domain, these things are all part of the indicators of compromise. Once you see this particular email address, if you are receiving email from this particular name, then it means that something might happen, or you don't have to trust this particular mail. So that is actually what we'll be doing today. We'll be looking at how we can learn from these open source intelligence, a few websites that we can pick some few things from, and to add up to our personal lives and even our organizations if we are working. And you know that at the end, you realize that we need to have these things. So there are lots of websites online, there are a lot of apps online, and I've actually gathered a few, like 5 or 6, where we've been practicing these websites and we'll be learning something from them. So the first one I have is hunter.io. That is the name of this particular website. With this particular website, I would say that it is mostly for red teamers. Red team meaning that people who are at the offensive side, they are looking to test organizations to see if they'll fall victims to. And this website also, unfortunately, can be used by the hackers or the attackers. This website gives you list of emails. So you can set the company and it will give you all the employees or most of their employees, their emails there. So that is what Hunter is used for. So let's see, in my search box, I have searched for Apple, right? Apple as a company. So you will see that this Hunter will pick sources online. It will scan the web. It will scan So yes, it will actually look at online available sources and it would pick information from there. So you will see on my list on my screen here that Tara May, he's the vice president of product, and this is her email address. This is her email address, and 99% valid. That means that this belongs to the vice president of products at Apple. You can search and you see a lot more information. But one thing you have to know is that most of these applications that I'll be showing you are free. With some, you have to pay for to get more access to that. But the basics and how you can use this particular application is free. So as we are using hunter.io, you will see that on our left side here, we see accept all, which is no. The accept all means that if you try sending an email to this particular account, it will not accept your email. The system will reject you. However, if you can find a way to send an email to me, maybe you stand a chance of, let's say, compromising Apple systems. And I know that Apple as a company will not let anybody send them an email, whether a malicious person or whether an actual email. They have a lot of things in place. They have a lot of tools, a lot of email security, antiviruses, firewall. They have all of these things in place to ensure that these emails don't even come true. But this is how we can gather information. So open source, we gather information online for free about Apple, how Apple as a company write their email systems. So if you look at this, they mean that how Apple actually do their email system is that they use the first name at apple.com. So they use the first name at apple.com. So if, let's say, you are targeting workers of Apple, you just have to know their name. That's all. You use their first name at apple.com. You get their email simple. That is how it is. That's how simple it is to get records of people. Right. So that is Hunter, and open source tool you can use to search for emails of company workers, and you can send them specialized emails. So this is mostly for targeted phishing, also known as spear phishing. Or maybe you are just interested, you want to send Apple a message, who knows? But this is one of them. Now let's move on to a few that we have here. We have one that says, have I been pawned? Have I been pawned is also a free tool where, let's say that after you've analyzed people's email address, you can come here and check this email address and see if these emails have been compromised already. You can use this website, you yourself, to check and see if your email address you use is not on the dark web. This is what this page is for. So if you have an email address, you've been using the email address for a lot of things, and you don't know whether your email address is on the dark web or your email address was part of a compromise somewhere that has made your address being stored on the dark web, this is where you can come and check. So once you come in, you type in your email address here and you check. You check and see if your email address is part of a data breach. So let me use my company email to see if so. You see that good news, based on this record, my company email is not part of any data breach. And they are giving me a reason that the email address wasn't found in any of the data breaches loaded into Have I Been Pawned. This is a great news. So this is something that you can check. So if you are a cybersecurity professional in your organization, you can look for email address of your workers, your employees. You check all of them to see if any of their emails have been compromised or not. If they have, you would have to further on and add extra security to them. We also have a place where you check your password. You check and see if the password you use is a password that is known in the dark web, or if the password seen in a compromise. So I'll just type in a default password like 1234, and then I'll check it and you will see. Now, password at 1234, this password has been seen in 22 million times. Sorry, yes, 22 million. So 123 as a password has been seen in different breaches 22 million times. So the password that you've set for your account, whether your personal password, your email password, your account password, your bank password, you can check all of them here and see if these passwords were not part of a compromise. If they were, you know that you have to change your password. That is actually what this part is for. Let me actually put in this random password and see if, right, I added my random password and you realize that this password is actually safer than most of them. So you can also check your password when you are free, and you will know whether to change your password or not. So this is Have I Been Pawned? And they also have parts where they can notify you, but you have to log in before. They will notify you as soon as they see your email address. So let's say that your email address was part of a data breach. So if maybe you've logged into, let's say, MTN before, right? And MTN suffered a data breach, there's a possibility that your details might be part of that. So you can set up an email system where they will notify you as soon as your details are part of a data breach. let's say an MTN database, for an example. So you can set up, and then they will send you a message anytime there's a data breach. They will send you a message so that you'll be protected ahead, and you know what to do with your email address. And if your password is also part, you know what to do by changing your password. And Have I Been Pawned will give you, let's say, recommendations on how to go about that. That is Have I Been Pawned, right? Now, let's go to a very popular website called Virus Total. So you can be writing them down if you have a pen. Virus Total. Now, Virus Total is also a free open source tool. That's if you have any link you don't trust, any link, you've received a link, you don't trust the link, you are visiting a website, you don't trust that particular website, you can come here and set that thing up. You can come here and set that thing up. Or you have done on, or you can try the file. So you want to choose from your system, upload the file, and see if the file is malicious or contains a malicious link. That is the file. And the URL is where maybe you've gone online, you've seen a link or a website that you are visiting. You don't know whether to trust the website or not. So you just copy the website domain name, right? So let me just use Have I Been Pawned as an example, right? You copy Have I Been Pawned here, and you come here and you paste it, and then you set it. You will set to see if Have I Been Pawned is a bad website. You see, Have I Been Pawned is coming here that it is a clean website. Now, Virus Total uses more than 60 engines. When you say engines, these engines belong to antiviruses, a lot of anti-malware tools online. It has picked more than 60 of their engines. So let's say you see Bitdefender here, engines of Bitdefender, the engines of CMC Threat Intelligence. So it has picked a lot of engines from the internet, and it is searching for these websites. You see, so if this website is malicious, it will tell you that this particular website is malicious and that you don't have to go there, you don't have to click or do anything about that. And also, they have a part where you can search for the hashes of files. So let's say you are going to download a file online, the hash value is whereby you've put that particular app in a hash system to generate this code for you. You can check this particular code. The code will match up to the file. So the hash value is that particular code. You can check the hash value of a file that you don't trust. If the hash value is malicious, it will tell you that this is malicious. Now, this system is how viruses and antiviruses operate. Every virus has their hash signature or their hash value. The antiviruses software, they know this. So they have taken all of them and they've added it into their system. So if let's say you are scanning a file, they'll convert the files into the hash value, and they'll see if the hash value actually matches what is in the system. If it matches what is in the system, it means that the file that you are using or the file that you downloaded contains viruses. That is a signature-based virus. Sorry, a signature-based antivirus. That is how most of them operate. And that is why mostly we say update your antiviruses, because when new viruses come, if the update that they will add it to the file, or if the update that they will add it to the software or tool you are using. But because these virus total is online, it picks new viruses as they happen. It is active, it is online, it picks viruses from different sources. So if you have this hash value, so I already searched for a malicious hash value, and we can set it. Now, the moment we set this particular hash value, we realize that out of 71 antivirus engine, it is giving us that this particular hash is malicious. So you see, so this particular hash is malicious. You compare this from different engines. So these are different engines for you to know that once you see these files on your system, you know, so this is the name of the file, and this is its hash value, and this is its size, and this is how it looks like. Right? This is how it looks like. So once you see this file, you will know that no. So on a company's network, once you see these files on your system, you know that no, these files contain malicious, or these files contain malicious software. I shouldn't download them, or it should be deleted. But if you have, let's say, antiviruses on your system, it will detect them as maybe somebody's installing them, or somebody goes to their website, or so on and so forth. If you have these antiviruses like Avast, because Avast is here and its engine has detected it. If you are using adware as an antivirus, so Bitdefender has also discovered it. So all these things are antivirus engines, Malwarebytes, McAfee, all these things are anti-malware or antiviruses. So that is for Virus Total. So it's free. These applications are free. So you can just go online and search virustotal.com. It will take you here, and and you can search for files. Okay. Now we have a few things that we can also look at, right? We also have abuse IP database, another open source tool where you want to know about a particular IP address. There is a particular IP address on your system. You've seen this particular IP address is online, it's active somewhere. You don't know whether to try this particular IP address. You can search for this particular IP address and see if this particular IP address is malicious, or who this IP address somehow belongs to. This is abuse IP dot or abuse IP database. You can go there and you search any IP address you want. You can also search for domain names like Microsoft.com, as you see here. So let's say we can search for Softafrique.com, right? And let's see. Now, once we search for Softafrique.com, they have given us the servers of Softafrique. They have given us where it is. They have given us which city the servers are, and they've given us the IP address of Softafrique, the particular IP address. We resolve the domain name.com too. So this is the IP address of Softafrique servers. This goes on to show you how important open source tools are and what details they can find. So you will see who is records, and I'll explain who is records in a different tool, but you can also use this tool to find who is records. And you will see list of reported IP addresses, last or the top ones. So you know that once you see these particular IP addresses on your network, you have to be cautious. So if, let's say, you are operating in these countries, you can set up a policy that once these IP addresses comes to your service, or comes to your systems, it should block these IP addresses from even accessing your account. And once you click on one of them, you scroll down, you see the bad things these IP addresses have been doing. So brute force, they were brute forcing people's accounts, or they were brute forcing different companies' accounts. And this was how they were doing that. Port scanning. They were trying to scan people's accounts or people's servers, and they were trying to hack those servers too. So you look at what these IP addresses are doing, you'd come onto your company and you set a policy, and the policy would affect this IP, or it will block these IP from even coming to your system in the first place. And an example of a tool that can do that is abuse IPDB. So abuse IP address database. That's what it means, abuse IP database. If IP addresses are being abused, or IP addresses are being used to do bad things, when it comes to people's networks, they'll report them online, or they'll report them in a database, and this particular database will pick all of them from different sources, and it will make meaning out of that. So that is abuse IPD. Then we have another type of open source tool called alien vaults. So there are lots of them online. You might see more than 100, but these are a few common ones that are being used, right? So this is alienvault.com. An alien vault is a type of open source tool that allows you to search for malicious softwares. So you've heard a malware, or you've seen in the news that a company was hacked with this particular malware. You come here and you search for that particular malware. Once you search for the malware, so this is an example of a malware that I searched. Emotet is this particular malware. So the moment you search this particular malware, you see different versions, right? After you see different versions, you click on one of them to bring you information. Now you see here indicators of compromise here. You see a lot of information about this particular malware. Are there comments about this particular malware? And one indicator of compromise is this particular link. So let's say this link is associated with this particular malware. So you know that if people visit these links, this malware might be downloaded on their system. This is what it actually means, because this malware is associated with this particular link. So you might even copy the link here. You bring them to VirusTotal to search for it and see if VirusTotal will give you more information about the link, if VirusTotal already sees this particular link. So as I brought it to VirusTotal, one engine considered this particular link as malicious. So you can actually compare and contrast these. You can compare and contrast these open source tools so that you get to know which ones you trust. Oh, what am I looking for? I think the share screen is blocking me from going there. Sorry. Yeah. So this is Alien Vault. This is Alien Vault you can use to search malware. A lot of malwares have names, and these malwares are being used by attackers. Now, they also have a place where it can show you the malware families, like different versions that have come out of this particular malware, different versions that people have also taken and made different use of these malware. So let's say attackers, they will take this particular malware, they will create it and make it different so that maybe antiviruses cannot find them, so on and so forth. But it will give you all the families associated with that. It will also give you all the indicators of all the emoted viruses, all the indicators. These are hash values. These are IP addresses. All these things are hash values of these malwares, right? So let's say, let's click on one hash value of this particular malware, and let's take it to VirusTotal to see. So this is the hash value, right? Let's copy this particular hash value of the malware. Let's send it to VirusTotal. Let's set it up and let's see. So you see now, VirusTotal is also telling us that this particular hash is malicious, as we've seen here. As we've seen here, this particular hash is malicious. So you can compare, take all this information, make meaning out of it, and you'll be fine. Or you can set up rules inside your company, your firewall, to block all these links, to block all these malware signatures from ever being downloaded on your system. That is one important open source tool. So you have spoken about Have I Been Pwned? We've spoken about VirusTotal. We've spoken about Abuse IP database. Let's look at check this particular website. This also is called URL void. The URL void will check the website's reputation. When we say a reputation, every website has how it is being valued, the trust level of that particular that particular URL. Websites are trusted. So if the reputation of your website is down, it would show here. So if, let's say, I come here and I do www.softafrique.com, and let's say I scan softafrique.com, it would provide me the reputation of Softafrique to see if Softafrique as a website can be trusted. You see, is Softafrique as a website malicious or not? And it will provide me with information about Softafrique, the domain registration, the IP addresses, the server DNS, the location where it is, the city, the region, all these things based on one simple thing I brought here. Now, they also can give you a who is record. What a who is means information about this particular link or about this particular domain name. Every particular domain name is registered to somebody. Somebody owns it. Definitely a company owns it. So it would provide you with who owns that particular link. When was it registered? Who registered it? At what time was it registered? You see, all these documents, all this information is online, but this particular website will pick it up for you. So if, let's say, I do facebook.com, right? And I'm not a robot, definitely. And I do who is lookup, they will provide me with as many information as possible of the service of Facebook, who it belongs to, what is their name, who did they register, who did this, who did that. So this can help you to seek out bad, malicious links. Because when hackers develop websites, they don't get the time to register all these things, or they don't actually go through all the processes. You can use this information to identify whether a link or whether a website was created not long ago, because new websites definitely belongs to malicious attackers or people with malicious intent. That is what a who is record can give you. It can give you the domain registered, when it was registered, when it should be updated, all the information, all the name of service this particular link belongs to, and know that this is just Facebook. The person who registered Facebook's phone number, the country, so on and so forth, a lot of information about Facebook here, just by a simple search. That is what these open source tools can find for you. And this tool is what? A URL void, that is the name. We also have where they can do DNS lookup for you. A DNS lookup is where that particular link you are visiting, the server that will redirect you to the link, that is a DNS. Let's say if you are looking for facebook.com, there's a DNS that will translate the facebook.com into the place you are looking for and will send you to that place. This DNS records will show you that, let's say, the facebook.com that you want to go, does it hold correct DNS, or is the DNS record intact? It hasn't been manipulated or worked with or something like that. That is what a DNS record lookup will do. So you can search for twitter.com, any website, and you find its DNS records. The servers that will redirect you to the places that you are visiting, are they all intact? And you can also ping a website to see if the website is active or not. That is URL void, and it is raining heavily here. So if I'm shouting, that is why I'm trying to make sure that the sound of the rain do not affect this particular lecture or this class. Then let's look at one final thing before we end. This particular website is called Shodan, right? Shodan is a type of website that gives you all the Internet of Things that are connected online but are free. So let's say if you have a webcam that you forgot to turn it off, that has access to the internet, if you have a smart fridge, if you have a Ring doorbell camera, if you have anything that it is on the internet, then you find them here. In Shodan, you find them here. You can search for that, and those things will pop up. So if, let's say, we search for webcam and we click on enter, it will bring us all web cameras that are active, that are online. All web cameras that are active, that are online, the locations, and so on and so forth. This is what Shodan will give you. And if you even register and you log in, you can even access the camera as it's on. So let's say that a camera is active on a shop. If you have registered for Shodan, you can be able to see as the camera is happening. These are ways people use to spy on people. Like a lot of people are using this to spy on people, hackers, and even government agencies also can use these cameras to spy on you. You can search for anything here and it will bring that to you. We are looking at Internet of Things. So webcams, smart fridges, routers, all the smart things, Alexa, all the smart things. You can search for them here and it would bring them to you as long as they are free, as long as they are open and they are on the internet. This is what Shodan can or will do. And I have spoken a lot about these tools. We have spoken about Have I Been Pawned? We've spoken about Virus Total. We have spoken about Abuse IP.database. We've spoken about Shodan. We've spoken about Alien Vault. And then we also have urlvoid.com. And there are a lot more that we can actually look at, but because of time, I wouldn't actually go into that. Maybe in a different time, you will look at more open source tools and how we can leverage them. Now, these records and these things are very, very important because you get to stay ahead of the curve. As a cybersecurity analyst, you will use this information, come to your organization, create rules that will block these things from ever happening into your organization. Because if you've seen a link where the link is malicious, you would add the link to your firewall, and your firewall will block the link. If there's a website, the website contains a malicious software, you'd have to block the website from or to prevent people from visiting the website in the first place. These and many more is what open source tools can do for you. Open source tools can actually do for you. Any questions before we end today's session about open source intelligence tools? Do we have an idea of what these tools are or what we can use these tools for? All right, if we are fine, then we'll end the session here. So today, we looked at open source intelligence tools, where we've spoken about virus total, we've spoken about alien vaults, we've spoken about Sodan, we've spoken about hunter.io, we've spoken about URL void, we've spoken about abuse IP database. All these things are things you can write them down. You can try them out in your free time. If you see a link, you don't trust the link, put them in these tools. If you downloaded a file or a friend has copied a file on a pen drive for you, you don't know what is in the file, you don't want to open this particular file, just send it to URL void or send it to virus total. The file, it will scan the file for you to see if this file contains any malicious input. If it does, you know what to do. We must know these things to protect ourselves from threats and hackers. As we see these indicators of compromise, we can protect ourselves. Thank you guys for joining into today's threat intelligence seminar. And I believe that you've picked one or two tools that you would save and you use them in your free time to search and also to find out what is happening on the dark web. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to see you guys next week, Wednesday, so that we explore more tools. We look at what those tools also can do for us and how best we can protect our systems and networks. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.